I'm Davy. I'm awesome. Welcome to Davy's Awesome Stories, where I tell funny stories from my past or go on a rant in an effort to make you laugh. And this week, I originally set out to do strange Christmas laws, kind of like last Halloween I did some weird Halloween laws. But it turns out there's not really a lot of Christmas laws that are weird, more just kind of mean. But while researching it, I found some strange Christmas traditions. Now, before I get into them, I will admit these are all traditions from other countries that I think are strange. Maybe it wouldn't be strange if I was from those countries. I'll concede to that before I get into it. But to Americans, these are going to seem strange. And if you're from one of these countries, after the video, you want to comment on stuff that you think is strange that we do, go ahead. Let's hear it. I'm sure it's strange to a lot of people in other countries that we intentionally wear sweaters that we think are ugly just to celebrate Christmas. The first strange Halloween tradition comes from Japan. Someplace I really want to go someday, but apparently not during Christmas. Because whereas, yes, in Japan, Christmas is not a major holiday, one of the things that apparently did boost it to being a bigger holiday was Kentucky Fried Chicken. And apparently it started in the 1970s. Kentucky Fried Chicken came out to Japan. It became huge, became a real treat for them. Where, yes, in Japan, they have some of our restaurants. Like, for example, they have McDonald's out in Japan. McDonald's is not nearly as big as Kentucky Fried Chicken. They love it. And they ran a promotion called Kentucky Fried Christmas. And it hit huge in Japan. And Japan does this every year. So much that every year they have Kentucky Fried Christmas. And they make such a big deal out of this in Japan, going to KFC on Christmas, that they reserve seats at KFC in Japan for Christmas. They kind of have to. And apparently these reservations are done months in advance. Like they plan it. Hey kids, guess where we're having Christmas dinner? I'm sorry if you wanted me to do an over-the-top racist accent, but I'm not gonna do it. My channel is not big enough to get uncanceled. We're going to Kentucky Fried Chicken. KFC? Yes! Yes! Thank you, Santa! Or whatever they got there. I know he's not Santa everywhere. Apparently in the UK he's Father Christmas. I don't know what he is in Japan. I don't know. Apparently they're so nuts about KFC over there. Instead of Santa Claus, maybe they got the Christmas chicken. I don't know. But I will say this. Japan, are you still this into KFC? Because I could understand this tradition. I could get on board with the tradition. If it wasn't for the fact that a couple of years ago, KFC, to keep from getting sued, they still put their 11 herbs and spices in there, but they put a very small amount in there to save themselves a couple bucks. But to the point that now we can't even taste it. I used to love KFC. It used to be finger-licking good. Now it's basically like rubber chicken. Tell you what, KFC, maybe in America we'll get on board with this tradition when you go back to putting in the right amount of 11 herbs and spices. Bitch! The next one, we're going to go all the way to Italy, where they have a interesting tradition. It's technically after Christmas, but it's mixed in with the Christmas tradition. The tradition of La Befana. And I'm not sure I said that right. But apparently it's a folklore tale of a woman who gives gifts to children who've been good on January 5th, 12 days after Christmas. So maybe this is the whole 12 days of Christmas thing, I don't know. But it's on the eve of the Feast of Epiphany, which I have no idea what that is either. But basically this legend is La Befana was a woman who lived in a shack near where Jesus was born. And the three wise men on the way to Jesus stopped by, asked her for some food, shelter, and then directions, and offered to take her along, and she didn't go. She said she was just too busy. But then was awakened by the bright star that night for the Magi, and wanted to go find the baby Jesus, but got lost along her way, so left the presents she was going to take for the children that were just nearby. First of all, got to clear up a little bit of a rumor here. We don't know how many wise men there were. In the Bible it says there were 3 gifts. It doesn't say how many wise men there were. It just says wise men. We know it was plural, but we don't know how many. Second, your tradition is somebody who decided not to go, changed their mind, and then couldn't find it. That's a little weird. I'm sorry, but I really don't get this one. I'm sorry, but let's celebrate the girl who almost met baby Jesus. And then the way they do the tradition, it's stockings. They hang stockings by a chimney. She fills those up with presents. If they leave a glass of wine at the bottom of the chimney. I get that we have a similar tradition. We leave cookies for Santa. But he's just going to get sugar high by the end of the night. He's not going to get schnockered. I mean, I'm sorry, but let's think if you were like the last few houses, what would that be like? You couldn't leave the good wine. Not a nice little Cabernet or a Sauvignon, nothing. No, instead you give me some Thunderbird. Here's what you're getting. You know what, Italy, enjoy your tradition, but I'm going to stick with cookies and Santa. The last strange tradition comes from Catalonia, Spain, where they have a tradition called cagatillo. Again, I'm not sure I said that right. This is the cagatillo. It is a log that apparently they usually keep next to the fireplace or under the Christmas tree. They put a little hat on it, a little smiley face. They cover it in a blanket to keep it warm. And then kids hit it with sticks. Which I gotta feel a little sorry for the log there. Because at that point it's just laying there and it's like, stop beating me with my family! But then, after the kids hit the log with sticks, the parents raise the blanket and there's presents under the log that are supposed to resemble poop. That is legit what it's supposed to resemble. It's supposed to be, while you were hitting the log, it took a dump. And here's your presents. I don't want some crappy gifts. And the presents that it's usually leaving are candies, nuts, and a thing called a taron, which I guess is like a maple nougat cake. I'm not sure. I'm not from Spain. But still, that is a tradition you guys do on Christmas. And you know it's weird because only one little section of Spain does that. Just Catalonia. Nowhere else does. And nobody even knows where this tradition came from. They're guessing it was probably like most traditions. It started as a pagan thing and just got adopted and changed around in their culture. Why did you want to combine poop and Christmas? I mean, I get Christmas, sure. You know, there's candies and chocolates, and then at the end of it, we have a big Christmas dinner, and of course, the result is we poop, but the result on St. Patrick's Day is we get drunk. We don't celebrate with, like, little figurines of vomit. But I will say, kind of want this tradition to come to the United States. Because imagine how fun it would have been on Christmas morning as a kid to be able to look right at your parents and say, these presents are the So there you have it. That's my story of it this week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, hit the little bell so you get notifications when I post the videos, and leave a comment I can respond to in my next comment corner. Like I said, if you think some of our American traditions are strange, go ahead and let me know. Love you guys.